To have you here. I know there's many people who visit, or perhaps there are people who are from out of town. My name is Joel. I am the pastor of this church, and we just appreciate the fact that you choose to make a part of your Christmas here with us on Christmas Eve. Just a great opportunity for us to come and to celebrate together. And I'm sure there's a great anticipation, particularly, perhaps not just simply with the younger ones, but with the older ones as well, as we get closer and closer to Christmas. Because this is a great season where we not only give gifts, but it's an opportunity for us to continue to be generous in the midst of all of life. And I want to say thank you for incredible generosity that was given by many of you last Christmas Eve. If you were with us last Christmas, you may recall us mentioning how we were starting an initiative of bringing and sponsoring a family from Syria here to Canada in Paris. Well, that family is now here. They've been here for a number of months. They are settling in well, and they are really experiencing their first winter here in Canada. But it was because of the generosity of people in this room last Christmas Eve that you were able to make that possible. Do you know over $7,000 was raised last Christmas Eve in order to make that happen? And so thank you on behalf of this church. It is incredible to see what can happen when God's people come together and are part of just making not only our community better, but building into lives as well. You'll notice on the back of your bulletin here this evening, we're also looking for an opportunity to continue to make a difference within our community. Another great ministry is the Raw Carrot, a ministry of this church that really empowers people and gives meaningful employment to people on disability. And so if you would like to give this evening, there are plates as you go out. There's more information there. But it is just wonderful again to be reminded of how we are so much better together when we can come together and just give out of the generosity that God has so graciously given to us. When I think of Christmas, I think of that sense of anticipation that comes in waiting for the presents to be opened. Now, I'm sure there's a few of you here in this room that are a little bit snoopy, a little bit curious when it comes to presents under the tree. You don't need to point to the person next to you, right? I get it. We kind of see some eyes wandering back and forth. But full confession, church should always be a good place where you can confess some of the shortcomings you may have. I am one of the snoopiest people you will meet. I have been known to knock over a Christmas tree on Christmas Eve trying to figure out if the gift in the back corner was actually for me. Yeah, that's all me. So you're starting to feel a little bit better about yourself as well, I hope. I've also been caught, yeah, I guess I'll admit this, opening presents before Christmas Day to see what it... This is a judgment-free zone, just so, especially on Christmas Eve, right? I'm bearing my soul, and I'm getting something from this section over here. So, but yeah, I opened presents ahead of time and then wrapped them up and then kind of ruined it all for everything. So maybe you have some people like that in your family. I don't know, but you try different things when people are curious, right? You say, okay, I am going to not put any presents under the tree. I'm just going to hide them in different places in the house. But that doesn't work so well, because then the snooping just goes into every corner and every closet that you have. And then if you're like me, there's been the occasions where you've actually hidden gifts away so that your children won't find them. And then I forget where the actual presents have been placed. And so you don't need that kind of extra stress. And so my gift to all of you is what we do in our home now, and it's called the Rebecca Solution. Rebecca's my wife. She wraps all the presents and she puts them all under the tree, but she doesn't label a single one. And so now you go up to the presents and it's not just the kids, it's me as well. And you have that sense of anticipation, you have that sense of wonder, and that sense of building of, is that gift really for me? And there's an interesting phenomenon. People seem to be drawn to the bigger gifts. I don't know. I don't get that. I don't fully understand. But we always seem to think that bigger is better. The bigger the gift or the bigger the event, the bigger impact it'll make in our lives. As I think about Christmas, we're reminded of the sense of anticipation. Within the Christian church, they call this the season of Advent, this season of anticipation, this season of waiting. But oftentimes what I find is, although we may be drawn to the bigger gifts, sometimes they don't always deliver as we thought they may have been. It's the more unassuming, the more unexpected gifts that can have such an incredible impact. When you think of the Christmas story, when you reflect upon the passages that were just read, at the time of Jesus' birth, it wasn't the big event that so many people would have expected. I mean, Jesus was born in the town of Bethlehem, kind of on the outskirts of Jerusalem. Jesus wasn't born to parents that were well known. I mean, Mary and Joseph kind of came from the backwoods of the Roman Empire. Jesus wasn't born in a wonderful palace, but rather he was born in a manger with animals. And when Jesus was born, the most significant people didn't show up on the doorstep. It was a bunch of common folk, simple shepherds. But what they didn't realize at the time, that although it may have not been the big event that one would have expected, it was the event that changed people's lives. It was the event that truly changed the world in which we live. Christmas reminds me again that when we seek the ultimate gifts in life, it's not always found in the things of this world, in the things of success we may desire to have, but it's found ultimately in the person of Jesus Christ. That wonderful reality, that wonderful gift that he gives to all of us. And so my hope, my prayer for all of us here this day is that we would experience the greatest gift, and that is the gift of God's presence in the midst of life. God's presence and God's promise that is given not only at the season of Christmas, but in the midst of all things. And so as you come here and we celebrate together, thank you for spending this time with us. But my hope and my prayer is that as you go out from here, you will continue to experience the incredible gift that Jesus can give to all of us. The gifts of hope, of peace, of joy, and of love. But it's a gift that we experience when we come and we see, when we receive it. Just as those shepherds did when they were told to come and see this good news that will bring great joy. I pray you have great joy this Christmas. I pray you have great joy this coming year as you experience the goodness of God in the midst of all of life. Let us pray together.